Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's tank tour from Kyle, who is all the way from Oregon. You look nervous, Kyle. Are you nervous?
A little bit.
Good. That's what we like. I'm going to
Yeah.
spotlight you now.
I think it's more that I thought I still had an hour to go, so I was still trying to get the kids fed and before putting them down to bed. And then I checked the Take Tours chat messages to see what was going on in there, and I saw Ron posted 20 minutes to go, and that was 20 minutes ago. I was like, what? 20 minutes to go?
At least you knew where
That
to
means it's time
to
now.
check.
So
So take it
yeah.
away, Kyle. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you get into the hobby.
Uh, can you give me just 2 seconds?
Absolutely. It's pizza time.
Yeah, sorry. I don't want to burn it.
I hope it's brought enough for all of us.
Well, that's
I
a
mean,
first.
there might be. These kids eat like birds.
Brilliant.
Well,
It's
that's the
not a
first, is it?
first because I seem to remember a tank tour not so long ago where someone halfway through went, just talk amongst yourselves and then disappeared.
Yeah.
Disappeared. Well, at least you
I
can
can't
still
remember
hear
whose
me
it
if I'm not
was.
over there.
At least that person came back, though, Steve. Yours just fucked right off.
Yes. But this is too much
Yeah.
work. I'm gone.
Yeah.
You're talking about the one yesterday?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That was funny.
It was funny.
So yeah, I've been in the hobby probably about 11 years. I wasn't really sure exactly how long it'd been, but I had to look through some old pictures yesterday to see the like the timestamp when the pictures originated, and it was said 10 years ago for the pictures I was looking at, but they weren't like from the beginning. So I started off back then. My mom said, well, you should do a fish tank. And I was like, okay. You should do a saltwater fish tank. So it's all my mom's fault, if anybody asks. So I started back then with a little 20-gallon tank, no stand or anything. It was just a 20-gallon tank on the dresser with like a regular freshwater hang on the back filter. And I had one clownfish, a coral beauty angel, um, a little snowflake eel, and that was it. And then at some point, I threw a little grouper in there, and that was a bad idea. So
Yeah.
I was at the beginning when, grouper will eat everything, and caught him one day swimming around with my clownfish sideways in his mouth like a dog bone. And chased him around with a pair of feeding tongs, like, you spit that out. And he did. He spit it out, and I got that grouper out of there, took him to Petco. So you guys can have this back.
Oh, so the clown survived.
So yeah, he survived. Yeah, that was my first fish, and I had him the whole time. I had that tank, transferred him over to a 30-gallon tank when I changed the tank out. And then I had that 30-gallon tank for a while. And then I had that until my protein skimmer decided to overflow, and it was upstairs. So it overflowed onto the floor and kind of like soaked through the ceiling until you could see a water spot on the ceiling up above.
Shit.
Then my mom said, fish tank's got to get out of there. So so I went from the 30-gallon to a 55-gallon I got from a buddy that was on a stand that I put downstairs in the dining room. So yeah, 55 gallons naturally they suck for a reef tank because they're so narrow. So I ended up switching that out to a 75. And the 75 is the one I had the pictures of from 10 years ago. So that 75 was up, I want to say, for maybe a year and a half there at my mom and dad's before I had to shut it down because they put the house up for sale. So, and then I was living in a travel trailer for a little while until I bought my first house with my wife, well, girlfriend, now wife. And that house was just too small for a fish tank. So we ended up, I didn't have a fish tank for 2 years that we were there until we moved into this house. And I said, now I want a fish tank. There's more room in here. Set one up. So I set up another 75-gallon, and that was over there by the door. And then I also set up a 30-gallon BioCube. You never have enough, right?
Yeah.
So, but then this tank that you see behind me, I got from a buddy of mine for basically beer money. He's like, "What do you want to donate?" And I was like, "I got $40." He was, sold.
Wow.
So that's my 40-gallon fish tank, or $40 fish tank. Sorry. So and then I took the 75-gallon and the 30-gallon BioCube and basically moved everything into there. So and it happened a little faster than I wanted to, but at least it was the tank and the stand and everything was ready. I had everything all set up in the tank. Sorry, I keep looking behind me.
That's all right. We're used to Tom
everything
looking off camera quite often.
So, everything was all set up. I had the tank on the stand and everything. And we had left to go camping with my family. And when we came back, the 75-gallon wasn't running. And I was like, oh, great. Something happened. The pumps were off. And I went to check the pumps in the sump. And the sump was just like all white. So it's like the calc had siphoned into it or something. And it was just like toast. I was like, well, no time like the present. So I just started moving everything over to the 180 because it was like, well, what's the point in trying to resurrect this mess? I'm transferring into there anyway. So I got home from camping and basically started transferring everything over the same day. But it was a pain in the neck, but I got it done. So I've moved enough tanks to basically know what I was going to be doing.
So did you lose a lot during that then, Kyle?
Did I lose anything? No.
No. Okay.
No, because all the mess that was in the sump, luckily the pumps were off, so any of that crap wasn't getting pushed up top. So and I wasn't sure how long the power was off on that pump because the power was running in the house. So I don't know. I'm guessing the pump just failed.
I mean, if you're a
kind of
religious person, you would suggest there was some higher power involved there. So there was a massive clusterfuck in your sump, and the pumps weren't on.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
That's very lucky.
Yeah, you got really lucky.
It was lucky. So, and I was also lucky that this tank was already set up and plumbed and ready to go. Pretty much just had to put water in it. So I didn't have enough water to get the sump and everything running in it. So I transferred the water from the 75, most of it from what I could, and the water from the BioCube. And then I had my mixing station out in the garage was a 55-gallon drum of saltwater pre-mixed. So I had that, and then a 55-gallon drum of RO up above it. So once the saltwater was drained, I could dump the fresh water and mix more. But then I had to wait for more RO water after that. So I pretty much just got the main display going with the pumps and everything until I had enough to fill the sump up and get it tied in. So, but it went fine. So like I said, my buddy that I got the old 55 and the 75 I used to have had a fish store in town for a little while before he closed down. So I helped him a lot with going out to people's houses and breaking down tanks that he was buying off of them and stuff for the shop and everything. So I had a little bit of experience breaking down fish tanks and knowing kind of the steps involved with doing that and all. So
yeah, I think next time I play the lottery, I might ask you for the numbers.
Be nice to win, but I never play.
Yeah, do I?
Yeah, I would just lose the ticket. Be one of those.
You would probably find a winning ticket stuck to your shoe.
When I was a kid, I used to find money all the time, just like under benches at restaurants and stuff and in parking lots, but
so
not no more.
You managed to see the drug dealer drop the money, but before the person came to collect it, you were gone.
Yeah. I just remember always finding like money, like quarters in the arcade games that people hit the button, the quarters come back out, and then find find quarters or find money under benches at pizza places. And everybody's like, "How are you always finding this money?" I'm like, I don't know.
Shit and dollar bills.
Yeah.
How
the
big is your tank behind you then? You said you were having water problems. How big is that?
So this tank is a 180. It's a 180 gallon bow front, made by Oceanic. So
Nice.
I don't think Oceanic is even around anymore. Pretty sure they closed down a ways back.
I've never heard of them. So was that a tank you could pick up in just a general aquatic store, or was it more bespoke?
No, it's just like an off the shelf tank, pretty much.
So you would get it in Petco and places like that?
Yeah, like an Aqueon or whatever. So I think one of the people involved with Oceanic, I think I've heard, went on to work with like Planet Aquariums or founded Planet Aquariums, something like that. But
Yep.
don't quote me on it. I'm not positive.
Their main tank builder went over there. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
You've
So
got a really good
this
wave
tank
going on
now.
in there.
What's that?
You've got a really good wave going on in there. I can see it kind of sloshing from side to side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I take it's just the tank then, because it looks like you'll stand there and like the pelmet at the top is sort of custom. Is that the case?
Is it what? I'm sorry.
Is it custom, the stand and the pelmet at the top?
Oh yeah, I built the stand and the canopy and all that, and then also this little one over here. So I wanted everything to match the all the cabinets and everything. I stained them to match the table I'm sitting at because I wanted it all kind of look the same. So it's all a 2x4 stand with I'll say plywood. I don't know if it counts as plywood. It's only a 1/4 inch thick. So, but I guess it's thin plywood, you'd say.
It's definitely a way more common thing in the States for people to make their own stands. Here, you very rarely see a custom stand. It's just off the shelf build stands. But in America, it seems to be quite common.
Yeah. Well, you can get just like Red Sea and Cade and all that, like you can Water Box, but it's really expensive. So like everything else is, they say that the tank and the stand and all that's the cheapest part, and it's definitely true because the money in this tank is definitely not in the tank and the stand. Like I said, I got the tank for $40. So. And then I would say the stand cost me like probably $100 in materials to make the whole thing. I already had all the paint, and just had to buy the wood and the stain and some screws, and then just built it out in the garage. So,
looks really good.
A lot of all the pictures of building it are all in the build thread, so on the Discord.
So let's start at the very foundation. What salt are you using, Kyle?
I'm sorry.
The peaks is finished. Oh, I saw a dog tail there. Did you see that?
Dog's like, I'm getting some pizza.
The kid's playing on her tablet. I was like, that's kind of loud. Let's turn that down. I don't know.
You gotta love a big bow front, though, don't you? Look at the state of that. Looks amazing.
Yeah, I didn't really want a bow front, but that's just kind of how it worked out. Because I definitely wasn't looking for one. But $40 is $40.
Yeah, that's a bargain.
It looks really good.
I'm sure a few of you have heard that a time or two, or said that a time or two.
I remember there was a rage, and was it like late 80s, early 90s? Especially here in the UK, anyway. Everyone wanted a bow front.
Yeah. Or a corner tank.
Yeah, they used to be big.
I remember them. Like slice of pizza shape.
That's it.
All the tanks look nice, but they're a pain in the ass to scrape to get them to look right.
Oh, the 55, that's a pain in the ass.
That's
55 millimeters. Anytime I see somebody like posting on like one of the Facebook groups or something saying, I got this 55 for dirt cheap. I'm like, yeah, there's a reason. Somebody had it for a little bit and realized that they're a nightmare to work in.
I had a 55 for 7 years and it was okay.
Jimbo.
So narrow. So
Jim.
narrow.
Hey, Jim. How you doing?
Hey, guys.
Hey,
You all right, Jim?
Hey, I'm doing okay.
Cool, man.
Hey.
I'll try not to make you laugh still.
Hey.
I had a Hollywood stunner chalice in my 55 that grew so big it was right up against the front glass and right up against the back glass.
Yeah, that'll do
And
that
when
in
I
any
sold the
tank.
tank, I had to chip pieces out of it to get it out. The rock on it and was so big, it was just nightmare. All right. Sorry about that. I think we got it all squared away for a little bit.
What flavor pizza?
Yeah. It's just a pepperoni rising crust pizza. So,
nice, my kid's favorite.
Yeah, just something simple, throw in the oven for them. So you're asking about the salt. I just use instant ocean salt, mostly because it's cheap.
Yeah.
I don't really care about the salt. I was using when I started off. When I got back in after we bought this house, I just bought the cheapest bucket, which was like a Coral Life salt, or used to be Kent Marine or something like that. Just cheap $30 bucket of salt. So I used that to get started, and then I got Instant Ocean, and I got Reef Crystals, and went back to Instant Ocean. I used a bucket of Fritz once just to try it, and so I'm not like any one salt. So.
Is Reef Crystals just a higher alkalinity version of Instant Ocean? Am I right?
Yeah. Reef Crystals is Instant Ocean. It's just like their more premium Reef branded one that's supposed to be, more mineral content in it and whatever. So
it's similar to is it like Blue Bucket and Black Bucket, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like equivalent.
Probably, yeah. I just didn't like it because every time I would mix some salt water up with it, it would just be like brown sludge all over the sides of the mixing container afterwards. It's just really filthy, seemed like. So and I haven't got that with any of the other salts, whether it be the Instant Ocean, the Fritz, the cheap one that I used to begin with. It just all mixed up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, yeah. So I don't want to have to be scraping off the sides of the container every single time I mix salt. So not that I even do that very often, because honestly, I don't do water changes very often at all. So.
Okay, so what's your water change regime then?
I don't really have one. If it's pretty much if I just randomly decide to do it, I'll do it. Or if some cyano flares up and I dose chemiclean or something, then obviously you got to do it after that, because your skimmer will freak out for a long time if you don't.
Yeah.
So I'll just do like a small water change if I end up ever dosing chemiclean, and then after that the skimmer still freaks out, but I just let it drain off into a bucket. Whatever it skims, I just keep letting it pull it out until it calms down. Just put the drain line for the skimmer in a 5-gallon bucket and just let it do its thing. And just try not to forget about the 5-gallon bucket.
Yeah. So give us a look at your equipment and how you're running this then. Let's have a wee look.
Yeah, where do we want to start out? The top, the bottom, the stand? What do we want to do there?
I'll leave it up to you.
I'll throw this chair out of the way.
I want to see your dog. Can I see your dog?
You can see my dog. Let's see. Can I flip the camera around on this? Looks like we can right here. Oh, that turns everything off. Not gonna work. Come on now.
Memories of Chris McLeod.
There we go.
Oh my God! It's a pointer. No. It's a pointer.
Buddy. Yeah, he's my rescue dog.
Oh.
So His name's Banjo. The shelter named him. I kept his name because I thought it was cute.
Banjo.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
That's
And then
that's the exact kind of dog we've got.
So, let's see. I'm gonna put him up outside for now, just because I know they'll.
See, Banjo.
Hypes him up now. He's like, come on, let's play.
Yeah. And then I'll start knocking stuff over if I nerve.
Right.
So
Now I'm starting
see
to
what we can do
get
here.
a scale of how big that tank is when you started moving there.
That is a big tank.
That is pretty whopping.
It's 6 foot.
Yeah, it's like 680 litres, I think.
Don't ask me liters. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, you said gallons. I had to immediately Google it to try and work out how much water that actually was.
It got overflows as well.
All right. So I did the stand is all on magnetic panels.
Cool.
Nice.
So you can. So if I have to open it up, it all just opens wide.
Look how easy you can access that.
So that one comes off. That one comes off. This one comes off. Everything just pops off. The sides all pop off.
That's real smart.
Yeah, that's nice.
I like that.
I wanted everything to be really accessible and really easy to get into. So the Sump is a 60-gallon breeder.
So is that Sump volume on top of the 55 gallons or whatever it was you said earlier?
So the display is 180 gallon, and then the Sump is a 60 gallon. So
wow,
I just say it's around 200 probably in water volume because you get the displacement from the rock up top, and then of course the Sump isn't all the way full because it only fills as high as the baffles. So.
It's a very clean looking system, is that, bud? Really nice.
That is beautiful, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, there's my alarm going off to get ready for you guys. Yeah. So the Sump is just made with, like I said, it's a 60-gallon breeder and then a acrylic baffle kit from eBay that they sell on there. So it's just like all drop-in baffles that you just silicone them into place. You just kind of decide on where you want your baffles at and get them in there and silicone them down.
It looks brilliant.
So, and then as far as they're laying everything out, I did put a sheet of plywood here just to separate that section out for all the electronics on the end because I wanted to keep all that separately in its own little space. And then the plumbing is just kind of snaked behind a little carbon reactor, CO2 scrubber, protein skimmer. Heaters are down there with the protein skimmer, and then my dosers up in there with the dosing containers.
Is that the Kiel?
Yeah,
the Kiel. Yeah,
the Camor FX4 Pro.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's equivalent to D&D one we have.
Yeah.
I want to switch it out for one of the Hydros units. They're coming out with that Blenny.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get that and swap it out. That way I can tie it into the Hydro system.
So what are you dosing there, Kyle?
It's the Reef Factory 3-part. So they have there's the bottles down there, but it's just the calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium 3-part.
Okay.
So I actually just bought 4 cases of it from BRS over the weekend. I wasn't sure how much longer I'd be able to get it with the whole Reef Factory thing going on. And they were having a Memorial Day sale, so it was all like 15% off. So I was like, well, I'm just going to stock up while I can. That way I have it for it'll probably last me that might last me a year, maybe. Nice. I hope. So
is that CO2 scrubber the Fisher Hex CO2 scrubber?
It is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
recognize
like it
the
a lot.
design. Awesome.
Yeah, I already had the ring attachment, and then I had this like hang on side overflow container, like moisture trap.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah, I
well,
have
it
the
came out with
moisture
these.
trap.
I was like, oh, I want that. Yeah, I don't know what to do with that now. I don't really need it now that I have this
Yeah.
on here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and that float's tied into the hydro system. So
Are you the
if it
one that
overflows.
are you the one that he did the prototype of the Hydros float sensor for that he posted on his channel?
No, not the prototype. Once he posted that he made them available,
Yep.
I was like, oh, I want one of those. Yeah.
Nice.
So I actually didn't have any sense ports left, so my rope leak detector I unplugged to be able to plug this in. So
Nice.
I was like, oh, no leak detector. Haven't ever needed it, so hopefully I won't until I get more sense ports on there. So then I don't know if you can see it back there. I guess I can move you in there, but that line actually comes out of the wall right there. And that line goes under the house, across the foundation into the garage, and that's for my kalkwasser. So I have a 20-gallon drum of kalkwasser out in the garage that doses every hour. So,
Nice.
what are you doing, kiddo? Go eat your pizza. What's going on over here? So, yeah, I don't know what to say else about down here. I mean, it's a sump.
So is that a Kessel light you've got over the right hand portion?
No, that's a night crew light. It's just a little cheap night crew light.
Looks
Oh, look at that! I got a lens burnt out on there.
Is that dragon breath you've got in there in Sump?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very jealous. We can't get that here.
What's that?
Struggle to get hold of it over here, so very jealous over that.
Oh, yeah. Next time I throw some away, you can have it.
I would love somebody.
I don't think you would make the trip.
No, probably not.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive over here too. Because I bought it off eBay for $20, and it was like that. It was like a 2-inch piece or something like that. It was tiny, but once it took off, it took off.
That sounds
really
back around.
That price sounds familiar. Did you get that from that that guy? I think he's down in Tampa Bay. He does everything on Etsy or eBay.
That I got the macro from?
Yeah.
I don't remember. It's been a while. The panels can stay off, I guess.
Lee, with all your contacts, surely you must know somebody where you could get that from and grow it out.
I've been searching for someone, you just can't seem to get it. I've never seen it before.
So it's like something you would get off of eBay or something like that. Somebody would have a little wee bag of it.
I just pulled like half of it out the other day and threw it in a bag and took it to my buddy's shop. Because like I feel bad throwing it away, but at the same time, like you got to prune it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
looking at your tank here, right?
I guess the top end.
Have you got two?
Yeah.
Is it double overflows?
Yeah, it's got 2 overflow towers. It's got one on this side and one on this side. Luckily, not corner overflows because I do not like those even more than I don't like these ones. I think one of you hassled me when I started my build thread about the coralline algae on the back glass. And somebody was like, "You got to scrape that shit."
I can't think for the life of me who that might be.
Nah, let it go. I'll let mine go.
I never clean my back wall, never.
I scraped a tiny little part because I put a feeding ring. I wanted to make a bigger feeding ring because I had the 2 little fishies floating one, and it was just not cutting it with the water movement in there because it was just whoa. So when the feed, it was just like real hit and miss whether it went off. I kind of Frankenstein one together out of a piece of 4-inch black PVC, and then bought some nylon nuts and bolts, and then bolted that on with a suction cup mount for like a crappy Amazon UV filter that I had. So I took the mount off of that, put the 4-inch PVC on it, drilled some holes, and strapped it together, and it actually worked really good. So, and I don't think you can probably see it in there with the tank the color it is now. So, but it is right up here up against the back. So it's probably twice the size of the two little fishies one. So the food actually makes it into it, and it doesn't blow around when the wind goes, or not the wind, the water movement goes. So I did drill a little hole in the side of it and a little hole in the side of the bracing, because I don't completely trust the suction cups not to let go. So they haven't yet, and it's been maybe like a week. But I know I'd be really ticked off if I wake up in the morning and that thing's blowing around, smashing corals.
Yeah.
So I've kind of zip tied it to the brace, just kind of like a little emergency tether. So just kind of a little peace of mind, just in case it does pop off. So
what's the big black circle in the front of your glass? Is that a feeder?
Big black. This guy.
Yeah.
That is a feeder. Have you seen
tubular Norris?
Is it what?
One of them tubular ones for Nori.
Yeah, it's the nori nibbler.
Your fish knew what it was when you moved it.
Yeah, they went nuts as soon as he moved it.
That like, tang went burst.
Oh yeah, they know what it is. Yeah.
Is that a clown tang? It looks like it's going totally tits.
Yeah. Yeah, clown tang's the boss, that's for sure. So yeah, it's one of those guys. You just wrap your sheet of nori around it and you feed it on. Yeah, it takes a half a sheet. Well, I guess depending on what you call a half a sheet. They say it takes a full sheet, but I think they're talking full sheets as far as like the stuff that's sold for the aquarium hobby. So,
yeah.
But as far as like the stuff you get from the sushi restaurant, it's a half a sheet.
That is a pretty chunky feeder, though. I'm thinking more like holy sheet.
Yeah. Mm. A what? I got you.
Terrible joke. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. But it works great. You get your little hands out of there, you old monkey.
He's like, hey, Dad, the fish want pizza.
So, I got the side of the cabinet open where all the pump controllers and stuff are. He's like, oh, I'm going to get in here and turn some knobs.
Oh, we need to see that. We need to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a piece of this nori on here, so I gotta throw it in there since I teased them by taking it out. I'll just throw it in there.
Oof.
Yeah, well, just going back to the Dragon's Breath, you say you don't do water changes. Is that your main nutrient export? You said you got carbon in the sump. Is there anything else that you're doing for nutrient export?
There's a little bit of GFO mixed in with the carbon, but I'm mostly through the GFO in, so I thought I was getting some dinoflagellates starting in there a little ways back, but I don't know if it was just diatoms building up or what. So once I threw the GFO in there, it cleared up within a couple days. So what, buddy? Something's over here.
It's time for dessert. Come on.
He's trying to show me something on the ground. It's okay. Go eat your pizza. I'll put you outside with the dogs. Yeah. I'm not really concerned too much with the nutrient export. I definitely say the main thing for that is the skimmer. So nutrients aren't normally very high unless you count when I dropped my auto feeder in the tank and basically all the pellet food went into there. So
Yeah,
I accidentally knocked. Yeah, I accidentally knocked it off into the tank one day when I don't even remember what I was doing, but I knocked it off in there, and got completely soaked, and I let it dry out afterwards. And a few days later, it was working. Well, it was working, but it wasn't working as it was supposed to. And one of the times I was at work, I came home from work and it was just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. So it was spinning long enough to where it basically just dumped all the food out into the tank, and I had to try to net out what I could, but the phosphates went up pretty high from that. It's basically a whole drum full of fish food just dumped into the tank that day.
Oof.
So, but that was one of my unplanned water changes. So there's a lot of times where I will actually do a water change just to kind of get that down. But
how much lanthanum would you suggest cow use to combat that, Lee?
It depends on what his level's at. You know, it's
1 million.
A lot.
A lot.
I'm having to whoop mine again anyway, so.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I've
never done the lanthanum thing. So
it's a really controlled way of doing it, but if you've got the dragon breath in, it should be dealing with it anyway.
Have you noticed any white buildup on your glass since starting using it, Lee? I mean, I know you've been using it a long time, but
the only time I've ever had it is when my calcium went high, and it was calcium that we're getting on. When I first started using it, yeah, I noticed it then, but that's 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah, I mean, it's starting to die down now in the shop system, but and the glass scrapers wouldn't take it off.
Yeah, it's a pain to get it off. You've got to go with a razor blade on it.
Yeah, it's wild.
I think it's because I run it through 2 different roller filters before it hits the display anyway, so
okay.
A lot of particles get pulled straight out from that way. That's why I can get away with dosing as much as I do.
Yeah, I'm dosing straight into a roller filter, and like 2 drops go in and the roller advances 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's just getting pulled instantly straight back out when it precipitates.
Roller filter.
Yeah, modern technology. You should look at. They are really good.
They are amazing. Yeah.
I've thought about it, but I don't really see a point in it for me. It's like I think it would strip my nutrients down too low. They're already pretty low to begin with, pretty much all the time. So, and I don't want them at 0. So
that's fair play.
Because I mean, I have a filter sock section in the sump that holds 3 filter socks, and I don't even put 3 filter socks in it. I just have the first 2 in. And then the third one is just basically a filter media cup insert that it just, I don't even put anything in there. It's just so that chamber doesn't overflow and get, because if I have all 3 socks in there and they get clogged up, then that water level in that chamber goes up until it overflows, and then I have more water in the tank than I want. So I just took out the third one. So if the first 2 get clogged, they get clogged. So. And I pretty much only put them in there to catch like extra food and just detritus that floats down, or there's random bubble algae or whatever that makes it down the overflow. So I'm scraping at bubble algae somewhere. And then I just pull those out and clean them whenever I feel like cleaning them. I don't do like every 3 days or when they're full. It's just like, oh, I'll clean those. So, I mean, some people say, well, what's the point of running filter socks? And so, well, it's just, why not? Like if they overflow, they overflow. If they don't, then they don't. But I can run it without them, and it'd be basically the same, and I wouldn't have to clean them. But I'd rather just have them in there because I have them and catch some of the food and stuff. So
we were talking today on Discord a little bit about the fact. Well, I was a little bit about the fact that there's no just one way to reef. I mean, no matter what you say, every single system, even if you bought all the same equipment, no 2 systems are going to be the same. Even TDS and your water coming out your tap is different. So it's it's just You just got to do it the way you want to do it.
Yeah, well, when you're getting frags and stuff and fish and rock, all from but if you buy all the frags out of the same tank as somebody else, all your rock out of the same tank as somebody else, like you can't guarantee you're going to have the same bacteria in there too. The microbiome might be completely different in somebody else's tank, and that could be the reason why one acts different than the other.
Yeah.
So you really just don't know what's going on at a microscopic level.
So what have you got in this tank, fish-wise and coral-wise then? Have you got an orange lens filter?
I do. I do.
Yeah, we're talking about the filter salts. You're saying that having to run them means you have to clean them. I suspect if you didn't run them, you'd be having to clean your sump quite a bit more anyway. So it's one or the other, I think.
You would think, but I probably wouldn't do that. We're being honest. I mean, it's just it is what it is. It's not horrendous down there by any means, but it's not.
Kiel, do you wash?
I wouldn't say it's spotless or anything.
Do you wash your filter socks each time then? After you've used them, I assume. Because I was going to say, I've got these little cups that you put filter floss in, and it's just easier to throw that and then cut another piece and drop that in than to keep washing them.
Yeah. I've got like 20 of them that I'll just kind of rotate through them. Not really a good spot for that.
That looks so much better.
Not like super blue, but yeah. So I don't know. Light rack is, I don't know if you'll check out up there before I get into it, but it's just like a wood skeleton frame for the canopy pretty much. And then
I'm guessing those are fish brackets as well.
They are. the NICRU lights with the ReefyAF 3D printed mounts, and the screen tops were a complete pain in the ass because I had to curve pieces of window frame.
Oh God, yeah. How did you do that?
Yeah. Really slowly with a rubber mallet.
What?
I pretty much just wrapped them in a towel and just really slowly worked them off of the edge of my workbench while tapping them with a rubber mallet to build them real slow so I didn't crush the chamber that the spline goes into.
What a legend. Love it.
And then all the corner pieces are all chopped up that I cut material out of them because you can't put a 90-degree corner piece in there. So I had to cut the corners and pinch them and glue them and brace them, but it turned out really good.
Yeah,
they fit real well.
You looked at your tank and said, "You fucking will fit."
Yeah, pretty much. And then the pain in the neck with that too, since they're not square, they're obviously kind of just like some weird 3 straight sides and a rounded side. Once you put the screen in, you got to be real careful not to do it too tight, otherwise it changes the shape.
Yep.
So but as far as down here, I mean, so I'm going to go a little closer here. So I've got 4 wrasses in here. There's the checkerboard wrasse is the least colorful, but weirdly probably my favorite fish now.
Beautiful.
And he came out of somebody else's tank and then got traded in at the shop, and I took him. And then I've got the couple fairy wrasses, the yellow flanked wrasse and the blue-sided wrasse. And then there's a Moyeri wrasse that's probably buried in the sand somewhere. He has a weird sleep schedule for some reason still. So I think the checkerboard wrasse might scare him away every once in a while. So because he's kind of a dick, but I like him. Same with the clown tang is a dick too, and I've been really close to getting rid of him, but I really like that fish.
It's beautiful.
I had one in my old 75 that was like perfectly well behaved, probably because he got his ass beat the day I put him into the tank. So, but this one's he's a bully.
Little clown tang, beautiful fish.
Yeah, they're really pretty.
The one of the reasons I got into hobby.
What's that?
The one of the reasons I got into hobby. I used to take my mate to a shop and they had a 18-inch one in, and I was like mesmerised by it.
Wow.
Yeah, he's probably about 5 inches. Yeah, it's a blue line Dorasa clam.
Nice.
Wow. I got that guy at Petco, and it's probably about 1.5 inches long, and it's probably about 10 inches now, I'd say. So, yeah, every now and then we find something good at Petco, but not too often. Just depends on who's running the place at the time. They circle through whoever runs aquatics pretty fast, it seems like.
Yeah.
The person that's doing it right now doesn't order very much variety of stuff. It's like damsels and snails, damsels and snails. You know, pop in, oh, we're getting stuff tomorrow, and you pop in and it's damsels and snails. So
is that a great big colony of forest fire digi?
That one's just a regular red digi. I mean, the forest fire is having some issues over here. It's getting like some bleaching going on in the center.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if something's bugging it or what. But,
looks like those and fellas migrating.
I was waiting for someone to say it.
So we got the purple milky stylo back there, and then the huge colony of green bird's nest. So that thing is growing like a weed. I keep on fragging it with the magnet cleaner and gluing pieces to coral or frag plugs and throwing them on the frag rack back there. So.
Is that a green anacropora right in the very center behind the clam?
That one there, yeah.
Yeah.
It is indeed. Another frag of that up there that broke off, and then can I zoom on here?
Do you find that stylo breaks, like little pieces break off and plants itself somewhere else in your reef?
Of the stylo, you said?
Yeah.
No.
I keep going.
Haven't had any of that.
I keep finding little bits. So I don't know if it's the fish knocking bits off it or if it's just doing it itself.
Probably. You got one of these assholes that likes to sleep inside of it?
Yeah, I'm just watching him.
I have got one of them, but it doesn't do that. He likes to rest on the sand.
She's always squeezing into somewhere. What are you doing?
They are weird, aren't they?
They are.
Yeah, it's a weird fish. I never wanted one, but then they got the aquaculture ones now come into the shops, and they're like 1 inch long. And when they're 1 inch long, they're pretty darn cute, and that makes you want one. So, and then they get bigger, and then you're like, oh, I never really liked this fish.
I've got one that has survived every disaster my tanks have ever had, and it is the ugliest fish you have ever seen.
Really?
Giving frogfish a run for the money.
Oh, I love the look of them. I do.
Oh no, mine's a wreck though, guys.
Is it?
Yeah. It survived velvet.
Mm. Oh, okay. I think mine's a yellow belly.
All the pumps, I guess they're all J-valve pumps. I got a gyre on each side, one on this side, and one on the other side, and then just the two in the back. That one's kind of hard to see because it's kind of tucked back behind that arch. And then the other one's just blowing at the stylo there.
Yeah, they're well hidden.
And the return pumps are J-valve pumps too. So
yeah, they're good.
Pretty much all budget gear. So
I love the fact that you got so much space in there, and you've got plenty of room for them fish to swim around. When you look at the fish, that's what I love to see. That is,
is that a Gorgonian over the back?
That's spotted that.
Yeah, Gorgonian on the end.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, took a while to find a place where it was really happy that wasn't an eyesore, and I decided just to stick it over here to have something to look at from the end of the tank when I'm sitting in the living room. So, and give the cleaner shrimp are always hanging out back here, so it gives them a little bit of cover back there and something to hide in. And so
Have you ever had any big disasters, Kyle? So, like acropore eating flatworms or Monty eating nudies, anything like that?
No, I can't say I have. When I had the 29-gallon BioCube going, that tank I set up with live rock that came out of the Gulf of America. So back then was the Gulf of Mexico. So from gulfliverock.com, I ordered just like their 17-pound starter kit, and that's what I used for the BioCube. And it had some limpets on there that, come to find out, were eating coral. So I was picking those out here and there when I'd find one. I was using just like a little automotive pick that I have to like get under their shell and pick them off because they are so sucked onto the rock. So, but I haven't seen any of them for a while, so that's good. They were kind of a pain in the ass. You can definitely tell they were eating stuff.
Yeah, and they're so difficult to remove. You are right.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily I had those automotive picks. I'd see them on something, just pop them off and throw them out in the backyard.
I had to hit one with a hammer not that long ago.
Limpet?
Yep.
Oh.
How big were you on?
Well, that sounds like a big limpet.
Yeah, it was about the size of the tip of my thumb. It was pretty big.
Oh.
I wonder where you're going with that.
Yes. I was looking at my thumb, Steve, and I was thinking of alternatives.
Oh man.
But then it was way bigger than that. So
yeah, exactly. So you had to use your thumb.
I had to use my thumb. Correct.
Oh, you missed it.
Oh man.
Kiel, how long in total has this system been running?
For after the transferring everything into here,
Yeah,
I'd say like a year and a half, maybe.
it looks well more mature than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
kind of
Some
rock
of
have
the
you?
stuff's definitely growing quicker than others. Like there's some slow growers in here. Like I got a little. I don't even know if you can see it because it's still so small back there. But it's yeah. There's a tiny little nub pretty much right in the center back there that just hasn't grown for nothing.
What kind of rock is it you've used, Kyle?
Kind of a mix of everything. Because the rock from the 75 went in and the rock from the BioCube went in. So it's got that Gulf Live rock. And then this structure is all one piece of rock that is all glued together. It was just random pieces that my buddy had that I got and just decided I was going to glue it all together after drying it out in the sun for a few days. Because he had some loose pieces, and then he had a bunch of other pieces that were just in filth in a 5-gallon bucket with old salt water that was just disgusting from God knows how long it was in there. So I just dumped all that out, hosed it down real good, and just let everything dry out in the summer sun, and then took it all in the garage and super glued it all together and just made one big old piece. And then a handful of just dry pieces I got from my local fish store. So
it's very natural. The entire thing is natural.
There's nothing that was like, I wouldn't say anything as far as high end rock other than the rock from the BioCube that was 17 pounds, cost $200 because it was shipped overnight from Florida. So that probably helped as far as the biome and everything. A lot of good bacteria and stuff on there.
Yeah.
There was some cool critters that I never really see anymore, like the hidden cucumbers and stuff. But I've moved and turned rocks so much, it's hard to keep track of things that are living within the rock. So,
did I see a mandarin earlier, or was it just the Blenny line on the sand?
Just the starry Blenny.
Blenny, yeah.
Yeah. You knew you were talking about him, so you got up.
He did. Just chilling in the clam earlier, I noticed.
Yeah, he sits on the clam a lot, which I would think it would irritate the clam, but the clam doesn't really seem to care. Doesn't flinch or close up or nothing.
I had a pair of clowns that used to do the same with mine.
Yeah, I've seen people have their clowns go inside of the clam when the clams get really big, and they just like go in the water inlet of the clam and like swim in and out of them. I don't know how good that is for them, but
I'm not going to make
I do like your clowns, by the way. Lovely pair of clowns.
Yeah.
Naked. Is it what's the white one? It's Snowflake or
Snowstorm.
I wasn't sure if it was Snowstorm or Wyoming White, but it's wrong coloured face for Wyoming, isn't it?
Yeah.
Usually have orange faces, but still lovely clowns.
Too many darn kinds of clownfish now.
Ew, would you do anything specific for the clam? Have you got any kind of hints, tips? Is there anything that you do specifically
for the clam?
Yeah, for the clam. Is there any parameters you go after, or flow conditions, or lighting? Anything you'd recommend?
Not really. The Durasas, from what I'm told and what I've heard, are like the more hardy of the clams. I want to get a Maxima just because they're a lot prettier. But my local fish stores ordered a few of them here and there, but they just come in such rough shape half the time, and they don't make it. So I don't know if it's a shipping issue with the person that's shipping them to them, or from the distributor, or what, or if they just don't ship well to begin with. So, but yeah, I mean, I fed Fido for a while, but it didn't really seem to make a difference. I think we should just going off of the food that's in there for the fish and the light. And fish food, I just kind of mix a little bit of everything in it and soak it up in a big 60 ml syringe and squirt it in there from time to time, and they go nuts. So just it's never really the same thing. It just depends on what food I have on hand. I just mix it all together and make a weird concoction of food with Celcon and amino acids and some Fritz Coral Max I'll put in there, and fish eggs, baby brine shit. Got some frozen rotifers I'll throw in there now, and a bunch of mysis, and just mix it all up and let it soak and soak it up in the syringe and squirt it in there.
That is quite a concoction. I was wondering when you were going to stop saying ingredients.
It's not that much. Just random frozen food and random other food. But I just kind of, I don't feed that like every day. It's just kind of when I remember. I take a drink out of the fridge, like, oh, there's that syringe. I'll grab it and put a squirt in there. So, well, you did say you wanted to see that other cabinet. So this is the other side for the cabinet and the pump. So it's got the controllers for the return pumps and the skimmer, and then all the wave pumps. I used to have the controller here for the Tunesy osmolator, but I took that out because I switched to the pump and sensor for hydros. So the hydro system just does the ATO now. So, and then this guy's only still here just for an extra monitor for pH because I already got it. So why not use it?
So you have a hydros actually controlling your tank then?
Yeah. Yeah, so this guy opens up.
Oh, okay.
And it's the only thing in there so far.
Where is it?
The Hydros launch, kind of a makeshift control board. It's the only thing on it so far is the launch. So, and then I guess got the little light controller for the refugium light. It's just a little integrated light timer that's built into it. So, but I got room in there. When I get more hydro stuff, it'll get screwed on there right with the rest of it. So hopefully they'll get that Maven out and I can save up some money and get that.
I think everyone's desperate
Oh my God.
for that to come out.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I can't with that Maven. I want it so bad.
Yeah.
What does it do? Excuse my lack of knowledge.
It tests, so the Trident tests alkalinity, calcium, magnesium. The Maven tests alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, phosphate, and nitrate. So you don't have to get a separate fucking Trident. It does it all. And if that's all you wanted to do, that's all you buy. You don't buy a brain. Every single piece of hydros comes with the brain.
What are you thinking, Lee?
Well, and it's got two sense ports and 2 drive ports on it too. So you could even run your ATO off of the Maven.
Yep.
And you can put a leak detector on there, and you can throw a dose. You could put a dosing pump on there too. So you could test your alkalinity with it, and then you could also have a doser plugged into it to dose alpha reef or something. So yeah.
Once I plan to run the Maven, my X10, and my wave engine, and then all my other stuff I'm pulling off. Yep.
Yeah. When at some point, because I know it's inevitable, because I'm running all J-bow pumps, I know it's only a matter of time before they kick the bucket. I just hope it's not sooner than later. And when they do, I'll probably go with a wave engine and get replacement pumps that are compatible for that, since I'm on the hydros now. So switch stuff out as it fails.
Yeah, the wave engine's awesome. I use it with my max spec gyres. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. So they got the two. They got the smaller one and the larger one, but I think the smaller one runs 2 pumps, the larger one runs 4. So I'd probably need both, since I have the four pumps in the tank and then the 2 return pumps in the sump. So I'd probably need to get like the small one to run the return pumps, and then the larger one to run all the wave pumps in the tank. So start saving my money now.
I wish they would get over here, but in all honesty, it is not happening anytime soon.
To be honest, I don't think it'll happen at all, John.
I'm starting to think that as well.
Well, I've got a mate who messaged them 3 years ago saying, when is it coming over? Or 2 years, however long it was when it first came out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
We should have them in UK in 6 months' time.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Then happen, does it?
Not even close.
Would you get one, Lee, or would you stick to Apex?
I'll stick to Apex, because there's no point me replacing it. If I were going to change, I'd go GHL, but
would you? Okay.
There's no point.
Yeah.
And as far as the new Maven concerned, it's on its same as the Mastertronic, same principle behind it anyway.
Yeah. What's that DD one that's just come out over here now? Is that does that do all 5, or is that just yeah? So the option's there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, there's more coming onto the market. I just like the whole controller system of the Hydros. Now, I've got the X3 that Taters on here sent me. Really kind of him. So, as much as it doesn't do a lot, it allowed me to play with the UI a little bit. I really like it.
New toy.
Yeah, the app. I like the app.
I wanted the Kraken. You know, the big power brick that they're bringing out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the amount of lights I've got.
Get rid of all your little power bricks and use the one big one instead of all the little ones.
Well, I've got 6 skies over my main tank at minute now, and at one point I went have 14 XR30, so that Kraken would have been ideal. But same again, we won't see him in UK, not for the next 5-10 years if we ever do.
Unfortunately.
The demand in the US, so there's no way it's coming to us.
It'd be the wrong voltage anyway.
I think the UK, with Apex, it stands at something like 5% of the total turnover, which is in between 5 and 10% of the total turnover for them. And when you've only got that little, they just can't be asked doing it. But same with Hydras, there's not enough financial viability to do it, to send them over. Might as well just keep on supplying everyone in America and not have hassle of dealing with UK.
Coralview are actually, they're building and assembling on site though, aren't they? They're not outsourcing to China and shipping it back in.
Yeah. Their chips, like the controller chips, come from China.
Yeah.
But
they
they
get some
build the
stuff overseas,
PCB.
but
Yeah, they build the PCB and all that on site. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see why they don't want to lose control of that. I totally get it.
Imagine the tariff they'd have to pay on getting all those boards in.
Yeah.
I
saw a post the other day that prices are going up that 10%.
Yep. Yeah, because of the chips.
I think that's just the start, to be totally honest. But let's not go there, people. Let's not go there.
Right. Here, what are your plans for the future? Because it looks quite well grown out in stocks, but you've still got some space there for other things by the looks of it.
There's loads of space in there.
Loads of space
in there. A lot of vertical space.
So says Steve, who has an insane amount of corals.
Crumbed.
Yeah. I try not to put stuff too close together, but I got a lot of stuff close together up here because I just picked up a few more little acro frags the other day. So I got a little red planet frag, and then there's some random millie back there behind the stag, and then another something on the tip here that you can probably barely see next to that other acro.
I can see it, yeah.
So,
have you ever measured your par, Kyle?
The par? No, I don't have. I'm not about to spend money on a par meter, and I don't have access to anybody that's got one.
If you were in the UK, you could have borrowed mine.
I can sing you mine to borrow if you want.
Bingo. There we go.
We're all in the queue. We're all in the queue for it.
There.
Who's got the UK one?
So.
Have you seen the little 45-degree brackets you can get that you silicon onto the back wall and they take a frag plug? So there's a little hole.
But I got this guy.
Okay. Is that magnetic?
It's a magnetic frag rock. Fake rock with 12 plug holes in it. And they're actually all full right now, mostly because of those stupid pieces of bird's nest that keep breaking off that I keep gluing down.
You could probably take
any more break off and throwing them in the trash.
The Coraline just glue it.
It might at this point. So. There was a lot more Coraline on the back glass, but it was growing in such thick sheets. I think the weight of it started making it just like separate and fall off.
Yeah.
So I was able to
I've got that. I've got that going on now. It's starting to break off mine, and I'm finding chunks all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, so I peeled a lot of it off just with my fingers and just grabbed like big sheets of it and lifted it out and just threw it out.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, if anybody wants any Coraline.
Feeder ring.
I reckon you could sell that on eBay. The number of people that look for Coraline for seed on their tanks.
Seed in it, yeah.
Well, it's real nice looking Coraline as well.
My dad's reef is 4 years old, and you should see his. It's just got on the back. It's just like layered, just waiting to drop off. You literally touch it, and it just falls.
You have this little guy over here too.
That's cool. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I love the little orange yellow gobies.
Just a little 3-gallon tank.
That toadstool is really nice. I like that.
For the toadstool and the Kenya and the leather were just pieces that my buddy ripped out of his tank and say, "Here you go, you can throw these in there." Sweet. It's just a little 3-gallon. I didn't want anything crazy in there. I just wanted something in there. So I just wanted a little tiny tank, basically just to throw this guy in. And then I wanted some little sexy shrimp and inverts and stuff. So that, where'd he go? It's hard to find him. There he is. There's that little guy in there too.
Like red line goby or something called.
I think it's like a green bar goby. Focusing very well.
See, I'd love a little tank like that, but I'd end up plumbing it into the main system.
I bet you fucking would. Yeah.
Really? It is on the hydros. So it's part of the reason why I'm out of sense ports, because I ran a temperature sensor into there off the hydros so I could control the heater. So I got a Wi-Fi power strip on there for the hydros and have it controlling the heater and a couple pumps in there. Yeah.
So that was the one reason why I can't get my hydros to actually control anything, because the language that hydros pumps out to control Wi-Fi bars, I'm trying to remember the term. There's a term you type into Amazon or eBay when you're searching for Wi-Fi controlled power strips here in the UK. So I eventually found what this language was.
Zigbee?
No. It's something like that though.
Zigbee is the most supported as far as I'm aware.
It definitely wasn't Zigbee.
If then this is another one.
Yeah, it's like Timu or something like that. I can't remember the name, but I eventually found one, got it, and it still wouldn't control it. So I spoke to Jeff B, who is like the absolute hydros guru, if anyone's ever needing any information. And he couldn't even work it out with me. And he went back and spoke to Coral View for me. And they said, yeah, if it's got that language that it can then talk to, it should work. I just couldn't get it to work.
Hydros Wi-Fi strips, most people say they're complete garbage. I feel like for every one person that they work for, there's 100 that they don't work for. Or maybe worse, I don't know. So,
I have heard that you're not supposed to put any important equipment on them, like life support equipment.
Yeah, because they randomly disconnect all the time is what seems to be the issue with them. So my buddy at the fish store, he's got one that he's got it linked to his hydro system, but it just drops the signal, and the tile for it on the app is just always red. It just constant disconnect. So, and I tried it, had the same issue. I bought the Amazon one that looks exactly the same. That is probably the same thing that they have, that they just slap their sticker on and say it's hydros. And it had the same issue. So then it's like, well, I'm going to try some other ones. So I got another one that was 5 output Wi-Fi strip. Tried it, it wouldn't connect. But then I stumbled across another one, and it actually works. So the one I have on the 3-gallon tank, I actually trust that thing. It hasn't disconnected once. It paired up like instantly, and it stayed connected the whole time. So
I'd be interested on what brand and model that is. If you can let me know, I would see if I can try and source one here.
Tuya.
T-U-Y-A. That's it. I said Timu. I was close.
Tuya is like the protocol or something.
Yes. But it uses JSON, so you should be able to pick it apart if you need to.
Okay.
The one I have on here is a Fate, F-E-I-T. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it's that brand. But it lets you turn the plug sockets on and off with the Hydros app, just like you would theirs, except it actually works. So I've told a few people on the.
That's why I got the XP8. That's why I ended up with the XP8, is because my Hydros Wi-Fi strip is just a piece of shit.
I'll put the link on Discord after the chat to this one. Maybe you can pick one up. It's like $32, and it works.
Yeah. Did you say it's F-E-I-T?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've getting no hits here on Amazon UK, but yeah, I was told it was that Tuya, whatever it's called, protocol.
Yeah,
it would work. So I tried 2 different Tuya power strips. Both of them wouldn't work. It's still incredible to me, though, that Hydros, even though they have no plans to come to the UK anytime soon, have put the ability to run on 240 straight out of the box.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's still like on. I don't remember if I saw it on like one of their Facebook posts or a video, but they had like a diagram of an XP8 with like a different type of socket on it. to where you could use like any like international type of power adapter. So
yeah, I've just
but
got mine
I don't
plugged
think they
into.
ever pushed those to market or whatnot, but they at least had plans for it based off of that. So
Yeah, it's just
I
a
don't know if
travel
they actually
adapter I
started
use.
producing. Yeah. So
It doesn't change the voltage or anything like that. It just works straight
right.
into the. You just change it from the 2-pin to the 3-pin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, so it's got a PSU, hasn't it? And it'll be the PSU that will be picking up it'll be have a range from 100 to 240 or 250 volts, and then dropping it down to your 24 VDC, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it'll be the PSU that's doing that for you.
So does anybody have any other questions for Kyle? I think that is a no.
Have you got any plans to upgrade your tank at any point, or are you happy with the size you've got?
Oh boy. I like the size. So, I mean, I wouldn't mind bigger because, I mean, if I get rid of that 3-gallon tank, I can go 2 feet further the other direction.
Yes, you can.
And then
Do it live.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that might change things is if we sell the house and move into a bigger house, because we got the 2 kids and potentially a third one on the way, and we only got a 2-bedroom house. So we're either building an addition onto this house or moving. So, and if we move, I'll probably pay an extra month's worth here and keep this house for a month and have 2 houses for a month, and then buy another tank, because moving this thing will be a pain in the ass. I'd rather just buy a new tank and do a tank transfer. So
good
Yeah.
thought.
Be easier, wouldn't it? Be easier.
Yeah, be a lot easier than moving everything out of this tank onto a tub on the floor and then moving the whole tank out and going to set it up. And
Yeah.
it'll be a lot easier just to get
It's
something else
doable,
set
but
up somewhere else. And
it's doable, but a whole day you'd need to do that, or maybe 2.
Yeah, you've got the perfect excuse.
yeah,
I'd
I'd do it in a
case.
Yeah, I've got no idea why Steve didn't do that when he moved. Missed opportunity.
Yeah, and this tank does have a lot of scratches came with that $40 tank. So
scratches, really, Steve? Do you know anything about scratches?
Steve knows all about those.
How'd you get scratches out, Steve?
That stuff.
Sandpaper.
That's how you put scratches in.
Yeah. Steve's an expert now.
Yeah, the scratches aren't super visible, but there's definitely plenty of them. You ain't gonna see them on the camera, but when you stand there and look at it, you can see them. That's for sure. So
Steve told
they're
me
not
they're not
deep.
put water in the
They're
tank. You can't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until you get algae, then you get algae stuck in scratches. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not deep enough for that, luckily. They're just like real light surface scratches.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Almost like, it's almost like somebody tried cleaning the tank with a pad that was a little bit too abrasive. So
yeah, it's easy done.
Get carried away.
What are you gonna do? But I'm pretty happy with it. It gives me a nice spot to just sit and relax before bed. I'll just sit and spend the last 15 minutes of the day in front of the tank and just kind of wind down while the kids are in bed. And it's therapy. It's calming.
It's great.
How often are you testing?
I fell off that train for a little bit, and I'm getting back into doing it every Saturday. So I watch the Mark on Milev's Reef. Watch his live streams every Saturday, and he always ends with "It's Water Test Saturday."
It does.
So I just, because of him, I do Saturdays. So just getting back into it. Back in October, I kind of fell off the wagon with it when my dad passed. So the tank went into just kind of do whatever it does mode. So now
you're dosing. So are you dosing based off of your test results that you sometimes do and sometimes don't do?
Well, the dosing just stayed basically at where I needed to be when I was testing every Saturday. So, and I've tweaked it a little bit within the last few weeks because my alkalinity was getting a little bit low. So I topped off with just like some BRS alkalinity solution because the 3-part that I use has trace elements and everything mixed into each one too. So I don't want to just dump extra of that in. So I just did like the soda ash and have a gallon of that mixed up that I brought the alkalinity up. And then once I got that up, I just kind of increased how much of everything goes off. So I think it was 50 milliliters for each part. I just upped it to 60 since it was getting a little bit low, and then I've gone from there. So far it seems to be holding good. Alka's, when I tested and it was low, it was down at like 7 point something. Now I'm back up to 8.6, which is, I'd like to be anywhere between 8 and 9. It's fine with me. So.
And how much do you dose per day currently on the elk?
So I'm dosing them all equally because that's what they recommend. So it's just 60 milliliters of alk, 60 milliliters mag, and 60 calcium.
That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quite low?
No, quite a lot. Yeah.
Quite a lot?
Yeah.
It's all that fucking Coraline.
Well, I don't feel like it's a lot.
Yeah.
That's on top of the Kalkwasser as well, right?
Yeah, on top of the Kalkwasser. The Kalkwasser pretty much handles all the evaporation. I don't run it through the ATO, but I have, if I check the logs to see that the ATO pump is kicking on more or less, I'll adjust the calc dosing off of what I see. So if it kicks on a couple times during the day, I'm fine. But if the ATO is kicking on like, more than 6 times a day or whatever, then I'll increase how much calc is dosing.
Cool.
So
you ICP off of your traces as well?
No. With that 3-part, I can't adjust the traces since they're mixed in with the reef trace stuff. So I don't know what their percentages in or in that, but even so, I would have to just kind of, if something was low, I'd have to buy a separate supplement for that specific element. So
yeah, I had to do that with Coral Centrals at one point.
I just had to do it with potassium because my potassium was down to like 290. So I've gone through like 3.5 bottles of Brightwell potassium to bring that potassium level back up, but I'm still only at 390. So brought it up 100 ppm, but still need to go up probably like 50 to be comfortable with it. So
how are you dosing?
But I'm out, so I need to buy some more.
How are you dosing your calc? Do you use like a stir, or do you just put in your ATO, or what do you do?
I've got a 20-gallon drum out in the garage. And then the Camor FX4, I have a head on there that pulls it under the house and into the sump. So,
have you got anything in the drum, or is it just mixed to high potency?
I just mix it to maximum, and whatever settles on the bottom just gets mixed again the next time I fill the drum up. So
something like 6. What is it?
It's 3.5 grams per litre, if I remember correctly.
6
there you
grams
go with your grams
gallon.
and liters again.
It's 6 grams per gallon.
Yeah.
What's that in ounces?
Oh, it's not even an ounce. 28 grams to an ounce, right? Don't ask how I know that.
Measuring.
Don't ask how I know that.
Yeah. I just throw a few scoops in and mix it up, and whatever settles, and it gets mixed in the next time. So,
yeah, I'll do the same. I'll just dump it in and leave it.
Yeah.
I have to say, Kyle, you're one of these people that is just so laid back, right? And you have a beautiful fish tank. And then you get people trying until they're blue in the face to be a good reefer, and they just can't do it. So There's a lot to be taken from your way of reefing.
Sometimes you just gotta
have no look at that's fresh water.
Yeah. So, some people just don't know when to leave it alone and just let it work itself out, because there's only you can only control so much. I mean, it is an ecosystem in the box. There's so much happening in there that you don't know what's actually happening. That's why people are starting to buy microscopes now to see what's going on with dinoflagellates and stuff, because there's more going on in the tank than anybody knows about.
Microscope was the worst thing I have ever been bought.
What's that? The microscope?
The worst thing I've ever been bought. The shit I found.
Yeah, I ain't going down that rabbit hole.
But it was good. It was good. It was really good that I found what the actual problem was, and it was the microscope that did it. So I'm very grateful for it. But still,
the curiosity of looking at random stuff in the microscope, is that the problem?
Ignorance was amazing.
What you been looking at, Ron?
I told you all. I found it.
Not looking at it no more. You got rid of it.
Yes.
What's this sticky substance in my sock? We shall put it on the microscope.
We've all been behaving so well. And on that note, if anyone does not have any other questions for Kyle, I think we'll wrap up. Kyle, what an amazing system and such a chilled out reefer you are. It's been a bit of a breath of fresh air, to be totally honest. So thank you very much.
No problem.
Yeah. Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, Kiel.
Yeah, great tank. Love the stand as well.
Yeah, good setup, man.
Absolutely brilliant.
I see you got somebody else's tank tour on, was it the 6th or the 8th?
Yeah, we've got...
Who's Sunday? It's Sunday, right?
Who's that?
We've got this little cheeky sausage down the bottom right. He's on Sunday at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And then,
This Sunday?
Yeah. Next Sunday.
So don't scare me now, Ron.
And then we've got Emma's on Sunday the 27th of July. And then we've got Coach on the 19th of October.
Why so long?
That's a long ways out.
The reason of that is it'll be a year old, so it'll be year anniversary, so I thought it would be a good time to maybe actually let it grow a bit. It's just
birthday party for the tank. Steve,
we're all going to be wearing hats. Yeah. Party hats.
Oh,
yes.
We have one final question. What don't you want to die in your tank after tank top?
What do I not want to die?
What's your favourite fish? And what's your favourite
clown tank?
It's just becoming a thing now, isn't it?
Yeah,
we finish off. What don't you want to die?
What's your favourite fish? What's your favourite coral?
Well, I already said my favourite fish. My favourite fish is the checkerboard wrasse, even though he's probably the least colorful one in there.
Yeah.
For some weird reason, I just really liked it, so he came home with me. And then my favorite coral is. You're making me put the lens back on because you're not going to see it when it's blue. Well, not real well. You'll see it, but mostly just because I don't see these anywhere. I ordered it online. It's kind of growing slow. Oh, yeah, I go off this. It's right back here, the little yellow Umensis coral. It's right on the side of the clam there. That's probably my favorite coral, but it needs to hurry up and grow more heads.
Yeah. Love the Euphilia.
Yeah. I need to get something else to put right on the tip of the rock there. Maybe rescue that orange. That orange one's getting a little buried, so I might have to pull him out and let him grow somewhere else until he gets a little bit bigger because the green one's overtaking it. So.
He's probably got about 4 or 5 corals you can have.
Yeah, well, I'd say you said you can fit one in there. I reckon you can get at least 8 on that little bit at the end.
Yeah.
Steve's looking at that sand as like just a virgin scape.
Yeah, I mean, I can see sand, so you've got loads of space for coral.
Oh, yeah. Loads.
This one's on the sand, taking up all the space.
Yeah.
I love that selfing tang. I love that. Beautiful fish.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that.
Gorgeous. Okay, everybody. Until next time, thank you very much.
See you
later. Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I'm sure there will be more to come. We appreciate every last one of you. Hit like and subscribe, it's the least you can do. ReefyAF Tank Tours, get in touch if you'd like to give us a tour of yours. Join our Discord channel and join in the fun. Talk reefing and nonsense, although most just run.
Hello. Hey.
Uncle Jimmy and Lee, how are you?
All right.
What's up,
How's it going?
It's a sick t-shirt you've got on there, Lee.
I finally found it. It keeps vanishing and reappearing.
I've got my top shelf aquatics hoodie on today. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted with my bubble tips.
I noticed how the clownfish is.
Yes, that's enough. It's hosting the words.
Yeah.
I've got my favorite shirt on. It says, Houston, I have so many problems.
Yeah.
Would you wear that to Texas?
Would I wear it to Texas?
Yeah.
Fuck yes. I was born in Texas, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, and then I've got my sword literally right here next to me. So
I've got mine just. It's more of a dagger.
Big sword.
I've been
I can just imagine that someone running in a burglary and you're going like, whoa, oh wait, no, keep shit, it's fine. I'll just leave now.
Watch, I don't stab you.
So this is how big this is actually. So that's with it on the floor.
And you're
How tall are you?
Yeah. 6'4", yeah.
6'4".
That's a
6'4".
6
Don't
foot
say we do,
sword.
Dan.
Yeah, it shoots like a dream. It's I really like it.
How often do you go shooting?
Not as often now as I used to. I used to go
You've got
about every other week, but now it's about every month.
that one, Emma.
What's with the pinky, Lee? Is that how you're supposed to show people your gun?
Get that. So you'll have that one then.
That's definitely shenanigans.
That funny enough, Ron. That's why my nickname's Tarquin. Because when I were 4, I broke that finger. So every time I drank out of a cup, I was like that. So a teacher called me Tarquin, and it kind of stuck.
So that's not your middle name.
Get it?
It's not your middle name.
No, my middle name's Matthew.
I thought it was Lee Tarquin Hammond.
No. As I say, it's just an old nickname.
I thought it was Lee Lanternum.
Oh, now, I can't remember when my 34 is.
Oh, that was good.
There we are. That's my favourite.
I saw that pinky.
Nice. What is that?
It's Agency Arms Glock 34.
Okay, nice.
Lee, is there any kind of subject that you don't have some kind of knowledge and background on? I bet you're fucking amazing at like a pub quiz. So like, get fucking Lee in there because he just knows everything about everything.
Anal, I'm not up on that.
What, giving or receiving?
Either.
It's funny.
Sorry,
you could have said anything, Lee, and I would have said I believe you, but I don't believe you.
It's the one subject you don't believe him on.
My problem is I've got really bad ADHD, so I jump from subjects and I go all over the shop, and it's not often I stick in stuff. So I've over 50 years I've gone through that many stuff. It's like, as you can see behind me, there's my Santa Cruz CC carbon there, which is another one of my many hobbies.
Hold on, is that not a medal for best anal just in the corner there?
Yeah, I'm hoping you aren't going to see that. Good evening, Stephen. How are we?
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm very well, thank you. Freshly back from the big smoke.
You're in Manchester.
I was kind of hoping my painting was going to be like a cheap version of a Art painting.
Art.
I've got it sat next to me, hoping it's going to fluoresce under UV, and it isn't really. I need to use UV paint.
Show us it then. Come on. That's actually quite good.
So did you say it was you made a jack off bollock?
I can see the dick right there in the middle.
Yeah. The dick's holding it.